Welcome. This is a recording of our usual Wednesday evening yin and meditation class. So it's an hour of yin followed by 15 minutes of meditation and relaxation. We're going to do maybe 8 to 10 postures, holding them for 4.5 minutes, and we're focusing on our hips today. Hips are part of where we hold our emotions. So it's kind of loosening things up and seeing what we find out about ourselves. And if that sounds a bit too airy-fairy for you, well, it's just a really good practice to open up our hips. They don't get a lot of attention if we're sitting all day. So you might want to grab a few cushions, a few more cushions than usual if you do these recordings. We're going to be sitting in a low squat, so you might need something to sit on. And there's a couple of other postures where we really want to make sure you're well supported so that you can sink right down into them. Otherwise, just the usual stuff. Don't be in any pain, ease off if you feel any weird sensations or discomfort, and really enjoy this practice. Namaste. Cheers. Okay. So we're going to start with our alternate nostril breathing, and we'll do it from seated. Sit in whatever position is comfortable for you. It doesn't have to be cross-legged today. And if you need to sit on a block or something to lift your hips up, then by all means I invite you to do that. And just get yourself situated. Take hands to knees to begin with, or in the lap, depending on how you're sitting. And just start to centre inwards. You can allow the eyes to close or just gaze past the end of your nose. And start to draw your senses inwards. Start to switch off from your surroundings. And replace the awareness of where you are with the awareness of how your breath is today. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice if it's slow and smooth, or if it feels a little tight or juddery. And if it feels okay for you to do so, allow your lips to gently close so that you're breathing primarily through your nose. Take peace fingers of right hand, so first and second fingers of right hand. Gently rest them in the centre of your forehead, just between your eyebrows, or maybe just a fraction above the height of your eyebrows. Use ring finger and little finger to press left nostril close. Inhale deeply through right nostril. Close it with with your thumb. Pause. Open left nostril. Exhale. Inhale through left nostril. Close it. Pause. Exhale through right. Inhale through right. Close. Pause. Exhale through left. Inhale through left. Close. Pause. Exhale through right. Inhale through right. Close. Pause. Exhale through left. Continue like this, so inhale through left. Continue in your own time. One inhale per nostril. One exhale per nostril. Maintain this rhythmic, cyclical quality. This is your opportunity to let the breath lengthen at your own pace. Balancing left and right, yin and yang, masculine and feminine, passive and assertive. Take one more round, and the next time you exhale from your right nostril, release the hand back down to your lap or knee, and release any control over your breath. Blink the eyes open. We're just going to take some easy movement just to kind of dial back in, key back in with our bodies before we dive into our first yin posture. So keep your bum on the mat and take your feet out in front of you, knees are bent, feet are flat on the ground, hands at either side of the body, and we're just going to windscreen wipe the legs from side to side. Just taking a moment, rolling from one sits bone to the other. Now come to stillness. Take an easy cross-legged position. Inhale, reach right arm up into the air. And exhale, lean over to the side. So right arm is reaching over to the left. Shift a little weight into that supporting arm. You can even just make little circles with the fingers. Bring some gentle movement into the wrist and the hand. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release that hand to the mat. Change the cross of the legs so the other shin comes in front. It might feel a little weird. Inhale, take left arm up this time. Exhale, bending that body over to the right. Take that gentle movement in the wrists again. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, release. Going to come into our first posture, which is dragonfly pose. So it's like a wide-legged forward fold. We're going to take it really supported today. So there's loads of options in our postures today. If you like to sit on a block, then that's an option for you. Another option, if you don't want to go straight into the hamstrings really deep, is to put a couple of cushions just right under the backs of your knees. That can feel quite nice if you're tight. And then the final thing that you want to do is have some kind of support in front of you. So again, it might be some stacks of cushions, maybe just a block. Play around with what you've got. Legs don't have to be mega wide, but you should be able to feel a gentle stretch on the inner thighs. And as you hinge forward, you might feel it in the top of the glutes and the lower back. You can let the feet be passive, so just let them flop today. And take yourself down into your support. And we're going to rest here for 4 to 5 minutes. So there might be a little bit of contraction in the quads, and that's okay. But just notice if you're clenching or holding on to anything. And on an exhale, just allow yourself to release any tension, any hold. As you exhale, hollow out the belly, slight rounding of the back in this yin posture. And very gently start to use your hands and your arms to push yourself back to an upright position. Take your props to one side, there's no hurry. When you're ready, Place your hands underneath the backs of your thighs. Just draw your knees and feet back in towards each other. We're going to move straight into our next posture, which is frog pose. So the way we're going to get into this frog pose is we're going to start in a hands and knees position, a bit like we're about to do a cat-cow. So your hands are just below your shoulders, and you're going to step your knees out wide. Almost, it might even be wider than the mat. Your feet are either going to be narrower than your knees or making a right angle with the leg. We don't want them to splay out further than the knees because that will put pressure on your knee joints. So from here, we can walk our hands away, and it may be that it's comfy enough to take forearms to the mat. If that feels like it's too much, you can stay up on the hands, or you can grab a few props, place them under the belly and the chest, and lie down or in this frog posture. And I'm just going to show you from the back so you can just see what's happening with the pelvis and the bum. Excuse this shot of my bum here, but you can see that the feet, just move that mouse out of the way. So the feet are either narrower than the knees or in line with them. The knees are going out, splaying out wide like a frog. As I look between my legs, I can see quite a big triangle of space between my knees and my pelvis. And I'm allowing my belly and my chest to sink down as my bum pops up into the air. So there's a little back bend in here as well. Frog pose. Everybody seems to be in their rightful place. These deep hip openings can really open up the emotional body as well. We hold tension in our shoulders, we hold emotion in our hips. So just take that helicopter view, as we do with our breath practice. Take this with your emotional body as well. Just see what's coming up for you today in this safe space. I'm going to come out of the pose now. So carefully and under full control. Walk your hands back a little way. Tuck the toes under if you need to. Press the feet into the mat to create enough height under those knees to draw them back in. And if you want to, you can just take a few little mini cat-cows, dropping the belly and then sucking it in as you curl the pelvis under. And then we're going to come into our next posture, which is half happy baby pose. So I invite you all to make your way down onto the mat. Lie back. Take a bend in the knees to begin with, soles flat on the floor. We're going to begin with our right leg lifted. Now, options here is, if you just want to keep it nice and simple, is just to take a hold of right ankle or right shin with your right hand. Take the knee and the foot out pretty wide and start to draw them towards the mat. If you want to maybe go a little deeper today, there's some options for you. So you can use a strap in order to actually stack that right foot above right knee. And you can also extend left foot onto the mat. Now when we extend left foot, our pelvis might start tilting over to the right. And that's why it's useful to have a prop, like a block or something, just snuggled in next to that right hip. And then that's going to stop us from rolling over. If that extended left leg feels a little funny as well, like it's kind of locking out at the knee, and you don't want to stay there for too long, you can take another cushion and just put it under that knee pit. So all the little points that might not be fully in contact with the mat, we've brought the ground closer to them if we need to, so that we can really work into this hip. Try and keep that double chin so that you've got length in the back of the neck. If you notice that your shoulders and your head and your chin are kind of jutting up off of the mat, slacken off on that strap or move your hand further down your leg. Bring the knee back in, ease off so that you can melt the shoulders and the back of the head fully into the ground. If the intensity is starting to build, this is a great sign that you're working at your therapeutic edge. Stay with your smooth, steady breaths. Feel like that foot is getting lighter and lighter, and it's just floating above your knee. Release the foot back down, slowly, slowly. If you've used a strap, just put it to one side. And also take any support that you put under your right hip to one side as well. Just hug that knee in towards the chest for a moment. Maybe even give it a little rock from side to side, interlacing the fingers over the shins. And if you put any support under your left knee, just take that out to one side for a moment as well. Bend left leg, plant sole of the foot on the mat. We're going to take right ankle and rest it on left thigh. And see how this feels. This is the first stage in a number of options for our next posture. So if this feels plenty, this is a good place to be. If you feel that you've got more flexibility in your right knee and your right hip flexor, you can actually snuggle right foot really high up left thigh, so that your outer edge of your right foot is kind of resting in that left hip crease. Right knee is going to point down and away from your torso. You might find that you can extend left leg back out. You can keep left hand on right foot to keep it in place. And if those props that were supporting you, you feel like they're necessary again, you'll probably be less wobbly, you're probably going to have a slightly more level pelvis right now. But if you want to, you're welcome to try them again. So it's like a reclined half lotus pose. But you can play around with the intensity by taking more of a bend in the left leg and less of a bend in the right leg. If you feel like you want to take a nice extra stretch through the full length of the body, you can extend your free hand over your head and rest back of the hand on the mat above your head. If that feels nice, it's not mandatory. if you've taken your free hand over and rested it above your head, just notice now if your rib cage has kind of flared open and up. That's okay, that's a natural movement. As you exhale, just hollow out the belly, melt more of your middle back, allow more of your middle back, the back of your chest, to spread onto the ground. We're going to come out of it by reversing the way we came into it. So begin by taking a bend in that left leg and planting the sole of the foot on the mat. Release left hand from right foot. Maybe take right hand from above your head, place it on right ankle, and just guide that foot back out and down onto the mat. You can actually just take the shins, hug the body, hug yourself like a little ball, and rock from side to side before we take that sequence on the other side, starting with our half happy baby. So as we did before, we're going to have our props to hand. We're going to take left leg up, so left knee is coming out to the side, left foot is floating up into the sky. Option to just keep it simple and grab a hold of the shin or the ankle. Arm is inside the leg, or you can use a strap. Hold on to that strap with left hand. Once again, you can take a cushion and just rest it under left hip so that you are more stable and the pelvis is nice and level. And finally, you can extend right leg down onto the mat, and you're welcome to just put something under left knee if it feels like it's straining without any support in the back of the knee. Tuck the chin under for a nice long neck, and feel that the left knee and the left foot are making one straight line. They're coming out to the side, knees descending down towards the mat, close to the armpit. So as we begin, we're just going to think about that kind of 55 to 60% of our normal range of motion. So what can we normally do in Happy Baby? How are we feeling today anyway? And where should we start? is as light as a feather. Feel the air flowing on the sole of the foot and the toes. And let that cooling sensation cool down any heat that's starting to build in that hip joint, the inner thigh, the glute. Allow your slow, steady breath to breathe into that hip. As we did before, just let go of the hold that you have onto that leg. Interlace fingers around the shin, draw it into the body. Any strap that you've used you can take to one side. And as you hug that knee into the body, just give it a little rock from side to side. And then we're going to take any supports out of the way as well. We're going to bend right knee, place the sole of right foot on the floor. We're going to rest left ankle on right thigh. Now it's normal for one side to be different to the other, so just check in with that left knee and see how it feels as you start to move left foot higher up right thigh, perhaps snuggling the outer edge of left foot into right hip crease. But wherever it rests on the thigh, this is a good place to be. If you want to increase the intensity a different way, you can start to extend right leg down onto the mat. You're going to keep a hold of left foot with right hand. And as before, there's the option to take left arm overhead for a nice full body stretch. Feel that left knee pointing down and away from the body, but not so much that the body is popping up off of the floor. resting on our foot, we've created a little bind. And these create little energy locks. This energy flows from that foot into that hand, like a little circuit. Very gently now, allow that right leg to bend. Place the sole of the foot on the mat. Release the bind of the hand on left foot and place that foot back on the mat. Take that extended arm, if you've had it above your head, just take it back down by the side of the body. Just have a few more of those windscreen wiper movements now. Just letting go of anything that we've managed to unlock or uncover there. And roll over onto your right hand side. And gently bring yourself up. We're going to take Malasana, which is our yogi squat pose. So come onto your knees to begin with. I think you girls have all got blocks, which might be your best option. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our hands to the ground and put our body weight into the ground, and then step one foot and then the other slightly wider than hip width. Our feet are going to turn out 45 degrees angle, so our toes are pointing out slightly. As we always do in our yogic malasana, our yoga squat, we want to take hands to heart center and triceps pushing out on the knees. But staying like this unsupported for 4 minutes is going to be too much. So the block, we can sit on it. Just got to find that little sweet spot. And obviously you can adjust the height depending on how flexible in the hips you are. If it feels like that's too much, you've got the option to stack a few cushions and then place the block on top. Another challenge in this pose for some people is getting heels on the ground. So you can always roll up a towel or place a couple of things under your heels. I think everybody is there. It looks really good. So we're going to begin here. Now, if you're pulling your senses inwards and you've been practicing a really nice chilled yin, I invite you to close your eyes or just gaze past the end of your nose again. We want to keep that nice chilled vibe, even though we've brought ourselves up off of the mat slightly. Notice if there's any tension in the wrists or the hands in this prayer posture. You can always take that prayer position a little closer to the face, if that gives you some release in the wrists. If you feel like your lower back is starting to pinch, you can tuck the chin in and allow a little baby curve to the spine. If you feel like you've created a little more space in the hips, now's a good time, if you want to, with as little disruption as possible, explore the possibility of lowering the height of your block. Only if you feel like that's something you want to try and it's going to be good for you today. Very gently now, take the hands back down to the mat, or actually either side of the body. So take them out from between those legs, take them to either side of the body, and just take them out in front of you. We're not doing a forward fold here, but just give them a little wiggle. We're going to move into our next pose, which is fire log, sometimes known as double pigeon. So there's an option before, is just to take a cross-legged pose, so crossing one shin in front of the other. We always tend to put our dominant shin first, so that's fine, start with that one. If we want to take fire log pose, what we're essentially trying to do is when we look down into our laps, we've stacked one shin on top of the other and made a little triangle of space in our laps. So we're resting one foot. So in my case, right foot is resting on left knee, right knee is resting on left foot. Now there are some options here. If you're kind of between the two, this is too easy, but this is too much. You can actually place some support between that top knee and that foot. And you can stay seated on your block to keep the hips lifted. If you are in fire log pose easily, then try to kind of make that triangle smaller so that the ankle is resting on the knee and the knee is resting on the ankle. Yogi's choice with the hands, maybe prayer position again if that felt nice. You can just rest the hands in the lap. Or down by the sides, fingertips gently touch the ground. Tuck the chin. I invite you to close the eyes again. Blink the eyes open. Raise your chin back to level. Take the hands down by the sides of the body now. We're going to change the cross of the legs and do the other side. So other leg's going to come on top or in front if you took that cross-legged position. Take a moment to play around with your props again. It's normal for the other side to be different. Have one side stiffer than the other. Like before, we're trying to make a triangle of space in our lap. Fire log pose, like two logs stacked on top of each other. That's what the shins are representing here. Again, yogi's choice with the hands. Draw those senses back in. Reconnect with your breath. Really feel those hips. Yin is all about that fluid, flowing energy inside us. So let yourself be like water. As you just melt down into the ground, through those sits bones, let those hips just gently flow open. This watery quality inside us lets us be flexible and allows us to flow with the rhythm of life. Take your hands down to the side of the body when you're ready now. This time you can just roll the weight of your body back into your bum slightly. Take the feet out in front of you. One more shake of your choice, whatever feels good. Maybe butterflying the legs or kicking them out in front. And that concludes our yin postures today. So we're going to move into our hum sa meditation. And we're going to be seated. Last week we did 8 minutes, so we'll do 8 minutes again. Get yourself comfortable, but still in a position where you can concentrate. I don't know if I've lost Grace or if she's just laying down and I can't see her. I think maybe she's run out. So comfortable position. Hands are either resting in the lap with more active hand resting in less active. So if you're right-handed, right hand rests in left and vice versa. Or you can take yoga hands, so index fingers and thumbs touch. Backs of the hands rest on the knees. If you want to sit against a wall, you can sit against a wall. And if you're lying down, just take a bend in the knees. You can even allow the knees just to rest in on each other. Just take a position where you're not going to fall asleep. So our hum sa meditation, as with previous weeks, hum sa means I am that or I am here. Ancient mindfulness meditation. You're going to repeat the mantra silently in your mind. On every inhale, you will hear yourself say hum, and on every exhale, you will hear yourself say sa. You're going to focus on this mantra. If your mind drifts and wanders, there's no judgment. Just allow your thoughts to come back to the inhale hum and exhale sa. So connect with your breathing now. That slow, steady breath that you've been cultivating the last hour. Start to attribute that sound. Inhaling hum and exhaling sa. I am that. I am here. with as little disruption as possible now. I invite you to lie down in our final Savasana. You can extend the legs out, feet flop out to the side, backs of the hands rest down by the sides of the body. Settle down onto the ground. It's got your full weight. Release any echoes in the Hum Sound mantra. You've done everything you need to do today for your mind and your body. Allow everything to be still. Very gently bring your awareness back into your body. Take delicate movements with your fingers and toes. Very slowly in your own time. You can take a full body stretch if that feels nice. If you don't want to wake up too much, you can just roll straight over onto your right hand side into the recovery position. And in your own time, with the eyes still closed, make your way into a seated position. Take your hands to your heart center. Tuck the chin. Blink the eyes open. Namaste, everyone.